Let's talk about carrots. Oh, I really love growing a thick carrot harvest. We plant very densely with the plan to harvest throughout the season. Oh man, that is just so good. Hey, good morning you guys. I'm out here in the garden. Haven't been out here with you for a while. Excited to check things out. And today we're gonna be talking about carrots a little bit and how we grow carrots. Not so much about how we get them started. Got a video for you on that, but how we really make good use of the space with growing a lot of carrots, harvesting throughout the season, and yet still having a really good harvest to put up for the winter into the cellar to keep us in carrots all through the winter. Before we get to carrots though, and talking about these guys here, let's get out into the garden and just see what's going on, how things are going out here. I need to do a walkabout anyways and just check on things. I know, let's start in the bean tunnel. We haven't seen the bean tunnel in a while. Here is the bean tunnel. It is looking pretty good this year. A little thin, but the beans are always, everything's a little late here in North Idaho to come on. Hey, we've got some harvesters in there harvesting beans today. And we've got a few different things going on here in the bean tunnel. The bean tunnel is a great place to grow some additional crops. We're growing the celery in here. We tend to move things around and mix up plantings and do different stuff. The celery is real happy. This is our second year, only our second year growing celery. And so far so good. You can see it's happy, doing real well. How's the bean picking going, guys and gals?
Good.
All right. Looking good. This is such a nice way to harvest beans right here. It's so easy. It's still early, so it's not too hot, but if you do have to come out and in the heat of the day, you've got your own shade. Oh, look at this basket. What a cool basket.
It's really handy.
Where did you get the basket, Rachel?
Mama got it like handmade for my birthday, actually.
Wow, that is awesome. And you just kind of throw the beans over your shoulders. And
it takes a little practice, like know your aim. I was like throwing them out at first, but
oops, yeah.
Yeah.
Finding a trail behind you.
Get your aim, you can just kind of like.
So that's easier, you think, than having something on your side or in front of you? I
think so, because if it's in the front, then it's like, I don't know, it bumps, and if you have to bend over, I prefer it on the back. Very
cool. All right, let's see what else we have going on here. We've got a few cabbages. These are some little small ones. We've just been harvesting them and eating them fresh, and they're doing okay. It looks like somebody's got a couple that are ready to come out here. Real good. Hey there, Abigail. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Hi, Hannah.
Hello.
This is a fun walk through the bean tunnel. We did something new this year. We've grown some kohlrabi. You can see this kohlrabi is really happy, doing very well. And we're actually growing these for a storage crop. It's supposed to store very well. We have a long storage season, short growing season, long storage season. So we're always looking for things like root crops and cabbages and different things that we can do so that we can keep in fresh veg all through the winter. Carolyn picked these varieties. I don't know where they are. You can see we've got this light green one, and we've got some purple kohlrabi here, but they're doing really well. Peas, looking good. The peas are starting to get to the end of their course. Let's see. Ooh, still sweet though. Very sweet. Wow, you guys got a lot of peas in here.
Yep, we're picking those Friday, I believe.
Taking those Friday, wow.
Those ones right there are the seed peas, so.
Oh, so we're getting down there. The peas are getting to the end of their cycle. And so you can see we have a lot here. And we're gonna save some for seed. So we always leave some for seed. And that's about where we're at now. Good stuff. All right, what else do we have going on here? These are all cabbages. We have flea beetle challenges, and we have found that covering them in the netting is the way to go. Can you see the cabbages are doing really well? Usually we would have a lot of flea beetle problems by now. You can see these guys are very healthy. They still got a ways to grow to head out. There's a nice big one. This cloth here has been a game changer for us for the flea beetles. We've tried lots of things. We're building good soil, but the flea beetles can just be awful. When you put them in the bean tunnel, the flea beetles aren't as bad. Like, they're not touching the kohlrabies. Look at this kohlrabi. Just come back over here for a second. That guy's is huge. But they don't bother them as bad, but when they're out here in the open, the flea beetles will really attack things. So that's our cabbages. We had cauliflower here, had a good harvest of cauliflower. These beds are being prepped, and we're gonna probably plant some spinach in this for a fall crop. This is the broccoli. You can see we've actually got some cabbage moths in here. I think that our covering hasn't gone quite well enough. You can see it's not down all the way. So we've got a few more bug issues, not so much the flea beetles, though I just saw a couple there. About to harvest these. The broccoli's about done. And we'll get this row ready for a fall crop as well. All right, some of our biggest challenges. This is our other DIY bean tunnel slash hoop house. And in the spring, we put the plastic over this to get our tomatoes and peppers going, eggplants and whatnot. And our tomatoes always struggle a little bit. They do not like the 90-degree days and then the literally 41-degree nights. That can be a challenge. We still get a lot of fruit, but the plants really struggle. Same with the cucumbers. Peppers are doing real nice this year. Not real big plants, but look at the fruit on here. Very good. So we'll be doing real well on peppers. We get by, but these warm season crops just are always a little challenging for us. Maybe one day we'll have a full hoop house and be able to control things a little bit more. We've got tomatoes growing. You can see the leaves have a little curl, and we've done everything to deal with this. I believe it's something in the soil left over. If you remember, this place was treated pretty roughly, and we just haven't found our place for tomatoes yet. I'm sure you guys will have a bunch of suggestions looking at these. And they do fruit. If we can get them long enough, they will ripen, or we'll ripen them on the vine, even though the leaves are a little funky. They do okay. Same with the cucumbers. They've always got a little bit of fungus among us, but they produce really well, and each year seems to get a little bit better. Let's see. Oh, Rachel's got baby now. Hey, Nathaniel. Nathaniel hasn't made it on video too much. What's up, buddy? What's up, Nathaniel? He says, oh, the sun is bright. Hey. How you doing, handsome? Are you out in the garden harvesting? Hi. Good to see you. Look in the camera and smile. Hey, buddy. Yeah, that's it. Tell them hi. Tell them how it's going. Yep. All right. Real good. There's the asparagus bed. Of course, we've just let it grown out. We had a great asparagus harvest this year. Raspberries, we are harvesting every 3 days or so right now. Yeah, there's one just about ready. I'd imagine they're going to harvest tomorrow. These got watered last night. Beets are doing real good. The root crops do real well for us here up north, both for fresh eating and for storage. And again, I'll talk about that with the carrots, and you can do what I'm going to explain to you with carrots, beets, potatoes, onions, parsnips here. We have these that are a little more challenging. They take a while to mature up, so we don't generally harvest them during the season. Potatoes are getting to the end of their cycle here. We'll just let them die back and sit in the soil for a little while and harvest them a bit later. They got a little ways to go, but they're definitely getting towards the end. Onions are doing good. Won't be too long. I imagine we'll start seeing these guys start to fall over a bit, and it'll be time to harvest. This was our garlic row, and the garlic's been harvested. And we've got, can we see, just starting to come up little spinaches. Not sure if you can see little spinaches. So this is going to provide some good fresh greens into the fall. And who do we have here? Hi there. Hello. And we have Elizabeth and Rebecca. What are you two girls doing?
We're picking gooseberries.
Picking gooseberries? Let's see the gooseberries. Oh, look at those. Wow, are those yummy?
Yeah.
Let's see, you try one. You like them?
Yeah.
Those are yummy.
I like.
They're good?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do with them? Are we gonna eat them fresh?
I know.
Or are we gonna make something out of them? Let's see. Make something out of them? Yeah. Our gooseberries don't get real big. These were here when we got here. And so we get a small harvest, but they're enjoyable. And we'll probably make, I bet you Carolyn will make a gooseberry jelly or something like that. Garden is looking good. Some leftover carrots from last year going to seed. Some parsnip going to seed, not quite there yet, but we're gonna play with saving some of the seeds for these. Currants have already been harvested. These are some red currants, they've already been harvested. And grapes are looking very prolific. Of course, they're not starting to turn yet, but it is going to be a very, very nice grape harvest. Looking good in there. Might be time to do a little trimming so that we can get plenty of sun on these guys. Wow, we are just loaded this year. This is phenomenal. Good year in the garden. But let's talk about carrots. Carrots, once you get them out of the ground, if you've got some decent soil, grow really, really well. They're very easy to grow. They're not a lot of maintenance, not a lot of work. They're really a favorite crop of mine because they're so easy once you get them out of the ground. You can eat them at various stages, so you can harvest all through the season. You can store them well, you can eat them fresh, you can cook them up in all kinds of great ways. I really love growing a thick carrot harvest. In my video on planting seeds, we talked about how to get them germinated. We didn't talk so much about strategy in how to plant them. And so one of the things that I do in the garden and that we do here with a lot of crops is we plant very densely with the plan to harvest throughout the season. And so something like carrots and beets particularly are really good for this. We'll plant, say, 5 rows in this 30 inches right here. And a little hard for you to see, but there are 5 rows of carrots in here. And we'll plant them very close together. Carrot seeds are hard to space out anyways. So we'll do about rows anywhere 4 to 6 inches apart to start. We'll spread them out as best we can, but there's still gonna be some probably, you know, every ½ inch or ¼ inch, sometimes they're together. So one of the first things you gotta do once everything is well sprouted is come through and do an initial thinning and just give those carrots a little room to grow. And then we're gonna let them grow up for a good 4 to 6 weeks. I'm just seeing as I'm talking here what looks like, almost looks like a little cottonwood. That doesn't belong in here. We've got a cottonwood tree back here, and every once in a while it sends up a runner. The other nice thing about planting that densely is once the carrots do get up, even though they're slower to germinate, they shade the ground completely in here, which slows down the weed growth. So that's another great benefit of it. Then we come through, partway through the season, and we'll get baby carrots that we'll start to harvest for fresh eating. Now that's already been done in here. So these carrots at this point, a lot of them are a few inches apart. And so we'll grow them about like this or even a little smaller. And we'll harvest them like this. And that's part of our thinning plan so that we harvest small. We have some good, tasty, young carrots. And we can kind of do that throughout the season and keep ourselves in fresh carrots. So we'll start with 5 rows with everything very close together. And then we'll get to the point that by the end of the season, we'll end up with probably 3 rows of carrots, say 3 inches apart or so, left in this bed. And this bed is just about ready to get a pretty good thinning. We haven't been keeping up with, say, the regular harvest so much, though we should, because, oh man, that is just so good. There's not much better than fresh veg. I mean, literally right out of the ground or off of the plant. So that's another nice thing. You can just come out and harvest whenever you want to, and you're not denting your preservation for the winter, which is really, really important to us. We've got 6 to 7 months, more like 7, sometimes longer, to get through the hunger gap where we need to store food. So we want fresh eating, but we want to make sure we get plenty in the cellar. that's the neat thing that you can do with these carrots, especially since they don't take up a lot of horizontal space in the beds. And we just thin these down to where they're 4 to 6 inches this way in our bed, depending on your setup, and maybe 3 to 4 inches down the row. And that will still leave us with a very, very nice harvest for the fall to put up and put into the cellar to get us through the winter, along with some other things. Now, you can also do this with beets, which are right here behind me. It's about time to harvest them as well. We did the same thing. You've got to give them a little more room, so you can't plant them quite as densely as you can with the carrots, because you can harvest these carrots when they're half this size, and they're wonderful to eat. And so that's the neat thing about them, is you really can get a lot in the soil and thin as you go and allow them to keep growing. So it's just a great, great crop for continuously eating off of and storage. Beets you can do similar, but they're going to need a little more space. But we'll do the same thing. We planted 5 rows. We're about to come and harvest rows 2 and 4, get them out of the way, thin it, and keep going. You can do that with potatoes a little bit as another great crop. These root crops are great for that. We also grow, as you can see back here, a lot of parsnips. Parsnips are not so good for that. They just take a long time to get up to size. And so we haven't really played with that too much because it takes so long to get them going. And we just let them mature up because they get quite large. There you have it. There's what we do with carrots and a few other crops to keep us in fresh eating. Hope your garden year is going well, and I will see you soon.